What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Lifestyle and Conditioning. In today's video, we'll talk about how to taper down your caffeine usage. This is specifically for people who are dependent on it, on either needs to stop or needs to lower the intake. Before we dive into today's video, the examples of caffeine usage is just that. Use the same method from the video and apply it to your current intake. Firstly, you need to prepare yourself mentally, so you just don't dive in without being ready. Think of the benefits it can bring you to no longer be dependent on caffeine. A few examples can be reduced stress levels, lower your heart rate, which in turn turns to lower chances of stroke and heart failure, so that's a massive win. Think about the things that plague you with caffeine usage. The opposite of those will be the benefits you will get when you no longer drink it or consume in small doses. What plagues you with caffeine usage could be different for someone else. Maybe it is sleeping issues, getting anxiety, high heart rate throughout the day. These are some of the examples that could plague somebody with caffeine usage. There are a few options of how you can go about this. One, you can start tapering down, or two, you can do cold turkey, which means you completely stop. A cold turkey is very hard and most people cannot do it, so I do not recommend doing a cold turkey. A major reason why a cold turkey does not work for most people is that they tend to do it seemingly at random. They haven't done the preparations mentally. Same can be said for anyone trying to taper down on quick caffeine. You need to do the mental preparations. This point cannot be emphasized enough. Without it, you are much more likely to fail and give up. Tapering down for most people is the best way to do it and the most sustainable way to go about it. It doesn't matter if it's energy drinks or coffee that's made you dependent, the way you go about it is pretty much the same. Example, you used to drink 4 cans of 500 milliliters per day of energy drinks. There are two ways you can taper down from here, which depends on the type of person you are. Option A is you take one of the big cans and make it a small one. Option B is you cut one can out entirely. Once you have done this, you maintain it for a few weeks. After a few weeks, you reduce again, and you keep following this pattern until you have either quit or reached the goal intake. I recommend using option A for most people, as it's a lot easier to do, plus the number of cans can stay the same for quite a while, so you can trick your brain. You can use this method until you're down to 4 small cans, then the number of cans will stay the same, however you've used your caffeine by half and sugar from energy drinks if you drink them with sugar. Similarly with coffee, you can either cut up a cup or go decaf, so you can make 1 cup decaf and the rest regular. Maintain it for a few weeks, then reduce again. You simply repeat this cycle until you're down to no coffee or drinking very small amounts. Now over time, each time you do this, it could be harder, and instead of a few weeks, you may need a month or longer, which is totally fine. We are all different. Some people need more time than others, and the way you go about it may be the same as someone else. However, you may be faster or slower than the other person. What I'm about to say isn't meant to scare you. Just be mindful of the possibility of getting withdrawals. And yeah, you can get that from caffeine. What I'm about to say isn't meant to scare you. Just be mindful of the possibilities that you might get withdrawals. And yes, you can get this from caffeine. When you hear about people talking about stopping to take caffeine, you may mistake it from people talking about stop taking drugs. Withdrawals are much more likely to happen if you do cold turkey, which is why tapering down is the better option, especially option A of tapering down. Just take your time and relax. A key thing to remember is that you do not stress about how fast or slow it goes. Let it take the time, whatever time it takes, so you can maintain it. This way it doesn't add extra pressure to your life. Half the battle is mentally of what you expect for yourself. You really shouldn't be hard on yourself about how long it takes. Just follow these tips and you can be successful in your attempt to taper down. Thank you for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Lifestyle and Conditioning signing out. Have a good one.